Over half of pregnancies in the US are unplanned. So most women find out they're pregnant by complete surprise. If you're wondering if you're pregnant, here are the top 10 most common early pregnancy signs. Now, the first and most obvious sign is a missed period. The best time to take an at-home pregnancy test is from the first day of your missed period onwards. Some tests, unless it's a brand like First Response, won't be able to detect that you're pregnant until the first day of your missed period. Now, with my second pregnancy, I took the test too early and it came up as negative. I was still getting other symptoms, so I waited 10 days until that first day of my missed period, and sure enough, I was pregnant. The best time to take an at-home pregnancy test is first thing in the morning, the first P of the day. And that's because the hormone that test is looking for, called HCG, is at its highest concentration in the morning with the first P of the day. So if you've gone out to get pregnancy tests, save it, hold off until the morning and use your first P of the day to test. The second most common pregnancy symptom are sore and tender boobs. With my first pregnancy, I felt like I needed to wear 2 bras. That's how painful and sore my boobs were, especially when I went for a run or I worked out. With my second pregnancy, not so much. I've had other symptoms instead of the sore boobs. So every woman is different. The third most common pregnancy symptom is tiredness and fatigue. If you're feeling like you can't get through the day without a nap or without going to bed 1 or 2 hours earlier than normal, then it could be a sign that you're pregnant. And that's because the hormone progesterone is at a level of up to 100 times its normal amount, also making you and your body more tired. The fourth most common pregnancy symptom is nausea, or what's called morning sickness, although this is wrongly labeled because that nausea and vomiting is not limited to the morning. It can happen any time of the day and it can last for the whole day sometimes. I actually had really bad morning sickness with my second pregnancy, and it was worst from the evening up until bedtime. So it's not limited to the morning, but if you are experiencing nausea and vomiting out of nowhere, it's not a gastro bug and it's not food poisoning, then it could be a sign that you're pregnant. The fifth most common pregnancy sign is light spotting. And this happens usually about the time of your period when the egg that's being fertilized implants onto the wall of your uterus. And this, in some women, can cause light spotting. It won't be heavy enough to fill a pad or a tampon, but there would be a little bit of light bleeding, which leads us to our sixth most common sign, bloating and cramping. This, like light spotting, would have happened around the same time that you expected your period, and it's also a sign that the egg has implanted on the wall of your uterus. With my second pregnancy, I actually got these cramps and I thought it could be my period on its way. So it felt very much like mild period cramps, but obviously period didn't come, and sure enough, I was pregnant. The seventh most common sign is to look at your cervical mucus. And if you're someone who's been tracking their cervical mucus for ovulation and for fertility, you'll know that you're most fertile when your cervical mucus is white and thick in consistency, almost like runny egg white, that you can almost stretch it between your 2 fingers. Now that would normally dry up and become clear just before your period. But if your cervical mucus remains thick and stretchy up until the day that you might expect your period, then it could be a sign that you're pregnant. And that's because your body, your cervix, is protecting your baby inside your uterus, and that cervical mucus is keeping out any of the bacteria and the microbes that could harm it. Number 8 is an aversion to food and certain smells, especially foods and smells that you would have loved before. With my first pregnancy, I suddenly hated the smell of bacon, and I hated even the sight of it, which was weird for me because I would eat bacon most mornings. So that was a very strange turn of events. If you suddenly hate the smell and the sight of certain foods that you love, that could be a sign that you're pregnant. Number 9 is cold and cold-like symptoms, the feeling that you're coming down with something. And that's because in the earlier half of pregnancy, a woman's immune system is naturally lowered to keep her body from rejecting the baby, which sounds very weird, but it's true. With both my pregnancies, in the early weeks, I would wake up feeling stuffy and congested, almost like I was coming down with a cold. And it's been the case for both my pregnancies so far. Number 10 is irritability and mood swings, kind of like PMS, but sometimes on steroids in my case, because again, those pregnancy hormones, progesterone at a level of 100 times its normal, and estrogen at up to 15 times its regular amount. So pregnant women are on a hormonal roller coaster, especially during the first half of pregnancy. If you're not feeling like yourself, more emotional, more irritable than normal, that could be a sign that you're pregnant. So if you have any of these symptoms along with a missed period, I'd encourage you to go out and get a pregnancy test. And if you are pregnant, congratulations. Check out bellamamalife.com for all your pregnancy health and wellness needs. We can't wait to do this pregnancy journey with you.